There it is.
Hey everybody, Dorisa here along with,
You know that right? Victoria Wilson, hello.
Victoria, and we are live in living color. So we have a lot of things to talk about.
You said live in
living color. We've got a lot of things to talk about today. This is going to be a very good. Yeah, it's going to be a very good discussion tonight. So we're going to just wait a little bit, let some people chime in. We're not going to just sit here and not say anything. Because you know how people do Facebook Live and they're like, okay, we're going to just wait. And everybody's just waiting.
Today, do you know who Sharmika is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so she did a Facebook Live today, and I have no idea why I watched the part I did. She was just drinking tea. I watched her drink tea.
Well, I've done that too. When you watch people on Facebook Live because you're waiting and you're anticipating and you know that something is getting ready to happen.
I told her, I said, I love you so much. I'm a fan. I just sit and watch you drink tea. She had a bottle of tea.
Hopefully
this is good.
Hopefully it was sweet tea. That's the Georgia thing. You got to have your sweet tea. Who cares? If you don't have your sweet tea, you are not a Georgia peach.
Anywho. Do you want to get started?
Yeah. We can wait just
a
little bit. Okay. We can wait just a little bit. It's 7:02. People may be stuck in traffic.
Traffic was crazy over here.
Was it?
People in Augusta don't know how to deal with traffic.
Yeah, traffic is really different in Augusta.
Here.
And then you've got a lot of construction. So, hello, Keith.
How are you?
Hey. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen you in forever. So, Keith, do you know Keith? Keith, this is Victoria. Victoria, this is Keith. Keith has been, he was on the chamber for Columbia County. So he's really nice guy. You got to get to know him.
Okay,
Really
I gotta get to know you, Keith.
Yep.
I don't know.
So we're gonna be talking about relationships today. We're gonna be talking about positive relationships today, Keith. So I hope you stay on, and we're gonna encourage you to comment, and it's gonna be interactive. So as you comment, we'll go back and forth with you as far as talking to you. Not going back and forth with you like that too.
First of all,
that's not a positive relationship. No.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I love looking at.
So she's looking at herself on the Facebook Live. And people are looking at you because they're wanting you to present where you're going to present.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about WPPRC too. So first of all, with WPPRC, I recently went out of town, and some of the people thought WPPRC was associated with my church.
Your church, yeah.
It's not. Women's Personal and Professional Resource Connection, you all, it's associated with me. I'm the founder of WPPRC. Yeah. So I started it, and really I just created the organization so we can inspire people, women specifically, but men too, you can tag along, but women, we wanted to inspire you, help motivate you, and just be a conduit to connect you all to different resources in the community. I was thinking about everything we did for 2017. I say we because I feel like you are part of WPPRC, even though she's officially not, but she's unofficially a part of WPPRC.
I'm unofficial.
She's unofficially official, exactly. But last year,
okay.
So we did a lot of things last year.
You did a lot of things.
I did a lot of things.
God used you to do a lot of things with this last year.
Yep. There's your guest, Clay.
Hi, Miss Clay. How are you? She supports everything I do.
Very supportive.
Every single thing I do, Miss Clay is there. She's
hello.
Yeah, but last year you did do a lot. God used you in some amazing ways. I remember you bringing me your book.
My binder.
Your binder.
Which is overwhelming to Victoria.
Yes, your book, and you said this is the vision. This is where we're going, and you use that word conduit, and it's not a word I use in everyday language, but that's exactly, you should be proud. That's exactly what you did. You were able to connect people to different resources all last year. And it was a fantastic year, I think.
I think it was a really good year. Thank you. I appreciate you. You've been extremely supportive because we had July, the very first workshop we had was an interesting workshop because we talked about sexual abuse.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the one we talked about: sexual abuse, sexual coercion, sexual manipulation.
Like crying,
it was
falling out.
It I mean, it touched a vein.
It did.
And so many people have been affected by that. Unfortunately, we discovered.
Yep.
And then we talked about, and then the next month we had Women of Power sharing success tips.
Mm-hmm.
So we had May Claire, a few other prominent ladies in the community.
Is that the one that Jana was at?
No,
Jana
not
James?
that one. She was at the singles.
She was at the single one.
Yeah,
You're right.
she
You're
was
right.
at the singles.
Okay.
Yeah, and that
No,
was
that's the one
discussion.
where May Claire and the realtor lady was there.
Mhm.
All the two realtor ladies.
Mhm.
Okay, I remember that one.
Yep. So we had that. Barbara Crenshaw was the presenter,
Okay.
and Barbara Crenshaw was presenting with May Claire. So they were the two panelists.
Okay.
So they came on and they talked about how they became successful because statistically they shouldn't be
Mhm.
where they are today.
Because she was like a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah,
Right.
and right now, May Claire, she's the vice president of a local bank here that's very big in the CSRA. I'm not going to say the name, but it's a very prominent bank here in the area. And then also Barbara Crenshaw is a partner of one of the real estate
Mhm.
companies, a franchise here. So they were telling about how they overcome
That was
odds. And
powerful.
yeah, it was very powerful. And then we had the single moms. That's when
Single
Jana
moms.
came out.
That one was good. I'm not even a single mom. And that was
Yeah,
really
that
good.
was. But see, I used to be a single mom. I was a single mom for 8 years, and that journey is. Thank you all for the hearts. That journey is. It's a challenging journey.
That's your man.
That's my son.
Well, why does it say junior?
Because he's not using that yet. He's gonna have to use that suffix. Ken, make sure you use junior.
So
Victoria
it's
would
not your
know.
husband.
Now it's time for him to, start using junior. So once you get to
To a certain
19,
age.
18, 19, you better put that
That's a
junior behind
grown
there.
man's picture
That
right
is-
there.
That's his picture.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But
Okay.
getting back to the single moms, I really, really wanted to encourage the single
Mhm.
moms because when I was a single mom, I had a support system, and my support system was very strong with the church, the community,
Yeah.
my family, and I believe they were very helpful in motivating me and encouraging me to keep going. At the time I was in college, and I went on to get my undergraduate and my graduate degree despite the obstacles of being a
Mhm.
single parent. But we had single parents here in the community, and I gave those certificates. Remember, we gave certificates to the ladies. Megan received one.
Oh,
Jana
yeah,
received
yeah.
one. Melissa Gordon received one. Paige received one. If I'm forgetting your name, I'm
Was
sorry.
Melissa Gordon there?
Melissa Gordon was there. Yep, she was one of the
What?
panelists. Yeah,
No, was
yeah,
she?
she was.
She was at a retreat I was at this past weekend at Okie Grove, and we introduced ourselves like we had just met for the first time.
State Farm Melissa Gordon.
Oh,
the agent that I worked with.
Okay,
Yeah, so there
okay.
are two Melissa Gordons in the area here. So
Okay,
that one
I was
is-
thinking about Neil Gordon's wife.
No, he's with State Farm too. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the other Melissa.
The
Gordon.
other Melissa
Yeah,
Gordon,
the other
okay.
Melissa Gordon. So that was really, and that was the workshop that we ended up getting promotion with on television. It was on the
Mhm.
Jenny Montgomery show.
That was good.
So 2017 was really, really good. We also had the success action, the financial, the domestic abuse.
Yeah.
And then looking at 2018, I changed it from doing the monthly workshops to doing quarterly.
Mhm.
And so we did quarterly, and then also being involved in the community. I've been out to Hope House, make presentations there.
Awesome.
Yep, and so now we're doing this one, which is the virtual, because we've got people who have wanted to be a part of it, but they weren't in the area.
Mhm.
So we're like, yeah, we gotta go ahead and let you guys know we're
All over
here.
the world.
Yeah, gotta let you know you're here. So mentioning that, Ken or Kenny, you can go ahead and contact your brother and my daughter-in-law. They're in California because they wanted to see it too. So
Yeah.
one of you guys can contact them, let them know we're live.
And you
We're
can
on.
invite them.
And that's, yeah.
You said
I don't know if she's on right now. So it's easier. Just give them a call. Let them know. But so, and then this is our 1-year anniversary. This is WPPRC's 1-year anniversary this month. You all, everyone who has come out, all of our sponsors who have been sponsors in the past, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for sponsoring us. Thank you for supporting the vision. All of the attendees, thank you. You all have been very, very, very instrumental in WPPRC being what it is today, from you all supporting it. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. And a business here that I really, really want Victoria to talk about is her organization.
So, thank you. I own Bring It Home by Victoria. If you don't know what that is, we are a family empowerment business for events and classes, and coming soon, books as well.
Books?
Yay!
Yay!
Talk about that another one. But I have a counseling background, and when I was doing counseling, I noticed that a lot of times we would go to the school or we would go in the home, and the presenting problems that were there, in my mind, I'm like, this could have been handled at the house.
Oh.
You guys really could have nipped this in the bud at your house.
Really?
And so Bring It Home is all about bringing families together in an atmosphere where they can grow and take that home and develop stronger families. So we had the Ninja Kid workshop.
Yeah,
Your baby was in it last year.
Definitely was part of that.
And this year we had double the amount of kids.
Wow.
We had
in just 1 year.
In just 1 year.
And because last year you had a lot of people there.
I did. And we had, at the actual cook-off, I would be as bold to say it was triple the amount of people.
Wow.
It was amazing. It was really, really great. Our winners, one little girl made a unicorn cake. The drip unicorn cake with the actual horn on it.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing. Jarvis was like, "You're gonna make my birthday cake." I was like, "Okay." Our two tied winners, the little boy who won last year won again.
Really?
Yeah, the one who like jumped into his arms. And he made chicken bulgogi. Yeah, in a wrap and in a lettuce wrap, and then he tied with, some of you may know, Carla Walker with Augusta Locally Grown. Her son made ratatouille out of vegetables out of her garden.
See, these children, they're chefs in the making already.
Not only that, just providing them that accountability and that moment together for you guys to pull this off and get together was just super powerful for a lot of the families. So that's what we do. We have our Women's Faith Retreat coming up. That's October 13th.
October 13th.
We'll be doing that.
I was there last year. It was really good. So you all make sure, you definitely don't want to miss that.
Yes, I'm super excited. We have some really great guest speakers coming up. Gotta talk to you after this. But we do have some great speakers lined up. Actually, Miss Clay, who's on the call, she's one of our speakers again. She was last year.
And that's where I met Miss Clay, was there.
I love Miss Clay.
Yeah. I've been knowing you for almost a year.
Almost a year? No, then you have known her for a year because you met her when I was doing those classes.
That's right.
So you have known her for a year.
You're right.
But we have that coming up October 13th. We will be at Arts and Hearts this year. That's super big.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, so that's what we do. We're all about empowering families.
Now, for those of you all who are outside of our area locally here, the Arts and the Heart, that is an international. So we've got people coming from different countries. It's like a big taste event, and they come here to Augusta to basically have their food, serve their food, serve their
art
and arts, and represent their ethnic group.
Yep.
It's very, very good. Very, very good. She said she's working, but she's listening. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really good. So relationships is what we're talking about today. Positive relationships.
Yeah.
And so what better person could I think of, honestly, to bring on was Victoria. So
Yes,
I'll give you all just a little snippet. So about a little bit over a year ago, Victoria encouraged me to start WPPRC.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Sure.
Your comments. That's the reason.
My comments.
Your comments. Her comments.
Little snarky comments.
No, they were good. They pushed me over the edge. But yeah, your comments really were influential, and I tell you that all the time, and you're always like, "What, really?" I'm like, yeah, your comments were really, really influential. And then that's one of the things I want to bring out today, and hopefully we can talk about, is the power of positive relationships.
Yep.
Because just like you encouraged me, you could have discouraged me.
This is true.
And I could be. We wouldn't be on here today
Yeah.
affecting the people that we've affected.
Yeah.
WPPRC has affected people, and without Victoria saying, you know what, when are you going to start your organization? Then maybe I would not have started it. I don't know. So thank you again.
People are waiting.
People are waiting. That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
People are waiting. So we're going to talk about relationships. So what do you consider to be a good relationship? a positive relationship?
So that's kind of a hard question. I struggle with positive relationships. Not because I'm meeting sucky people, because just the atmosphere I was raised in, with a military family, it's hard for me to keep positive relationships together, because I'm so used to, oh, we're friends today, but it doesn't matter, in 6 months I'm gone, and I'm not going to keep up with you. So now as an adult, and we've settled here, positive relationships are so important to me, and they need to reflect a couple of things for me. They need to be life-giving.
Right.
Whenever we're around, I want to be edified. I want to do better, and I definitely feel that way about you. Every time I wore my nice dress because I knew I'd see Delorisa today. I was like, I gotta get fancy. Really can't wear my t-shirt and my shorts. So they need to edify you in some way or another. You know, it's not a friend that's always, you know, bringing you like a list of things. This is how you do better, but just being in their presence makes you want to be better. The next important thing for me for a positive relationship is the relationship needs to have some kind of movement in the kingdom of God. If we're not moving in the kingdom of God, and with us being together, we're just sitting around gossiping, then it's pointless. We're not doing anything. And I believe that in friendships, your marriage, any relationship that God puts together, it was specifically for his glory. So those are some things, as I'm learning to be a better friend, those are some things that I'm constantly trying to be mindful of.
You know what I have been guilty of when I meet people? I am now at the point in life where I ask God, Lord, what is my purpose of being in this person's life? Like, even if it's a person I meet in the grocery store, because I just talk to everybody. I don't. Do you? Yeah.
I do too.
Like, I don't meet strangers.
I don't.
Strangers do not exist in Delrisa's
Nope.
world. Never.
Nope.
So
by the time we leave Walmart, we have a play date set. Seriously.
I mean, I have a play date with you, but I don't know when you had a play date. But relationships, I mean, they're so critical. And I think that, I forgot what I thought I was going to say.
That you've been struggling, like as you've been growing.
The purpose. Yeah. So the purpose. So what is our purpose? And I think that's something that, you know, I encourage you all to do too, is as you meet people, think about it. So, hey, what is my purpose in this person's life?
Yeah.
What's your purpose in my life?
Absolutely.
Like, are you here why are you in my life?
Yeah.
You know, because I think that when it comes to relationships, there are different categories.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not trying to put people in a box, but I had someone tell me a while ago when we first met, they said, well, I know that's not, you know, I know your role in my life is not to do this. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. They put me in a category. They put my relationship with them in a category.
Wow.
And because of that, there are certain actions that comes with that relationship that they said, she won't do this because we don't have that type of relationship.
Oh, wow.
Or yeah, she'll do this because we have that type of relationship.
Wow.
Which, when you think about it, so you have an acquaintance, right? So what's an acquaintance? What would you think an acquaintance would be?
I have acquaintances at the neighborhood Walmart by my house.
There you go. So an acquaintance, somebody you see.
I've memorized your name tag.
Right. I see your name tag. Like, I see your
You
Dollar
told me
General.
about your daughter once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I consider to be an acquaintance too. Like, you see someone periodically. You don't have a personal relationship with them. You don't really know them. You may know their first name because of the name tag, but you don't know. You don't know anything about them.
I don't know what they're capable of. I don't know what their interests are outside of the surface things that we've shared.
Exactly. And I think that's how a lot of times people's hearts get hurt, because when I talk about that box and that category,
wow.
So you have a friend, so who's a true friend, and with that true friend, you tell them your intimate secrets, right? And you tell them your challenges and your struggles. You wouldn't tell that to your acquaintance, right? But the thing is, I think a lot of times people are guilty of putting people in the wrong position.
What?
So they are telling people their intimate secrets, and that's an acquaintance. You're you're putting too much weight on that relationship.
Y'all better be listening to this.
That relationship is not.
Preaching.
No, hey, Liz. That relationship is not. Gonna break that first.
She preaching. Y'all get it.
I'm very persuasive.
Yep. That's so true.
But yeah, when you think about it, like we misappropriately categorize relationships.
Yep.
So there's no reason why I should be telling my intimate secrets to an acquaintance. And then I go and I'm upset because this acquaintance has hurt my feelings. That person did not supposed to have that information I've given them.
They don't have that position in your life.
They don't have that position.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of times when we look at people, we don't really look at the relationship. We just look at the individual. Like, oh, Victoria, she's a nice person. Let me tell her the struggles that I'm having.
Let's be BFFs.
Let's be BFFs. No, she's an acquaintance, but not in this case. She's my friend.
Yeah. I think what's also important with what you said is that when you share at that intimate level of friendships, like we're BFFs.
She's my beautician.
She looks amazing.
See you next week.
All the time. All the time. We have 2 beauticians on this line.
Yes.
But when you were talking about that role, I think that goes both ways as well. When you're sharing with someone that wasn't designed to be in that role,
right?
And you guys haven't built up that relationship, and you start to share. I've had situations where we were acquaintance level,
right?
And they kind of. I'm a counselor. I have a face where people just want to pour.
Right. And they gravitate to you because of your personality.
That's always a great thing,
right.
Because they will share things with me, and by no means will I ever go and tell or say anything, because I've been drilled into that.
Right.
Through the military and counseling training.
Right.
Anything you say to me is a bolt. Like,
there you
I'll
go.
never tell. But where I'm not in a position to help you because God didn't send you to me.
Right.
There is somebody who has a testimony for that, and somebody who you're linked with that, first of all, needs to hear your testimony, and you guys need to share and partner in that, but you've now skipped over that and just told me everything.
See, and that's where we make a mistake.
Yep.
I've got to acknowledge my mom. She's on, hey, Mom.
Hi.
I'm sending hearts your way. Now, my mom, she has always told me, so I have always been a very friendly person. Like, I just love people. I don't care who you are. I don't care what status in life you are. I just love people.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a little girl, I used to always call everybody was my friend. So, like, there was an individual, like, I could get into a fight with someone and I'll come home and say, my friend hit me. Mom would say, that's not your friend.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, but she's my friend, and she hit me.
I tell my girls that all the time.
She's not your friend.
They don't have your best interest at heart.
So, Mom, I learned the lesson. Everybody is not my friend. She got it. She got it.
That's important. That's important.
It's critical.
We teach that to our children, but I don't know for sure if we actually pay attention to that in reality, in real life time. Everyone is not your friend.
Everyone is not your friend.
You can't really be putting that position out. Does that make sense? Does that sound terrible?
No, it doesn't.
You cannot, actually, something Miss Clay told me years ago, I don't know if she remembers, she said, you cannot be available to everyone all the time. And you cannot allow people to attach themselves to you.
That's right.
And especially when you're a people lover, which we are.
We are.
And so if someone attaches themselves to us and their negativity, their anxiety and all of that, it begins to drain us. And if we are not properly prayed up, hey, God, this is the person you've called for me to be with and things like that in a friendship. If you have not guarded yourself in that way, then everybody's going down.
Now, that's a friend, but that friend is called a leech because they are draining. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're draining you. So what do leeches do? They drain. So
that's true.
So they may be in that category of a friend, but they're draining you.
Yep.
And they're not bringing anything positive.
Wow.
So then we've got colleagues.
Okay.
So then with our colleagues, we've got people we work together, we go to school together, I see you. So what's our common bond? So our primary connection is our goals.
Okay.
Like our goals is basically like I sell insurance. So at one point I was in insurance school. So I wanted to always.
There's such thing as insurance school?
Yeah, you go to school for that.
We
don't just get your license out of a Cracker Jack box. You gotta go to school and take state tests and continuing ed and all of that. Yes,
I never knew that.
Yes, ma'am.
You're always edifying me.
Oh my goodness. Yes, you have to go to school for that. So yes.
Oh wow.
But the common bond that I had with my people there in class was that we were colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so we weren't friends per se, because our common interest was that we were all trying to pass that state test.
Okay.
You know, so that's another category of our relationship. Pal. So what would you consider a pal? That's something that my father-in-law, he always says, hey, Mickey, Mrs. Perkins is on the line. She's live and in living color. If you all have anything you want to say, please chime in. Let us know, and we'll acknowledge your comments. I think it's not just about Doris and Victoria sharing. It's about everyone, which is what WPPRC is about. The conduit connecting. Connector.
What is a pal? That's something else I struggle with. You picked the wrong person.
No, I didn't.
I struggle with pals. I think, just like you, I think everyone's my pal. And it's funny. It was that, and seriously, it was my husband that brought it to my attention. He said that you make so many people feel like y'all are best friends.
Yeah.
And then you don't work in that relationship.
Yeah.
And if your husband says that and he noticed it, my husband doesn't notice anything. If he noticed that, like that's pretty, like, that's hard, tough love.
Yeah.
So I would meet people.
Hi, love the show.
Love you. I would meet
That's
people.
my daughter-in-law.
Is it? Oh, she got on. Hi. I would meet people like in the elevator, and by the end of it, I've got your number, and we've made a play date, and we're gonna see each other and go shopping. And after those things have happened, and they keep texting me after that, I'm like, who is this?
Right.
So that's I have no idea what a pal is. What is a pal?
So then I think a pal is someone that you have a common interest in. So like, say for instance, Destiny is on gymnastics. So the lady that I see that's dropping her daughter off to gymnastics, and I'm dropping Destiny off to gymnastics, and we may talk and we may have good conversations there. She's like a pal, like, because it's
step above
like a step above an acquaintance, because this person, if we go to an event, it's like she's at an event because her daughter's at an event, my daughter's at an event, we may sit together. I mean, like, but outside of that, there's nothing.
Okay.
That's what I would consider.
So like in high school, they were like your locker friends.
They're like your locker friends.
Your locker friends. That's what they're a locker friend.
You took me back.
Oh yeah, they're a locker friend. You're like the person next to you. You're like, oh, you going to science? Okay,
right.
I'll see you later. But then if your birthday was that weekend, they don't know because they're not invited.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not a friend. That's a pal.
It's a locker friend.
That's your locker pal. That's your locker friend. And then we have family. Of course, family. I've got some of my family on.
You got a question?
How
do you let go of negative friends
in a positive way? Bam.
Do you want to do it?
That's a good question. You can go.
Okay. So I've had to do this a few times. If you missed the first part, if you are not edifying me and I'm not edifying you, and if we're not moving the kingdom forward in some kind of tangible way, then we probably don't need to be doing this relationship. So if you have a friend that is negatively affecting you and you want to relieve of that, be relieved of that maybe? The first step is you need to surrender that to God. You absolutely have to take that to God.
Step number one.
Step number one. You can't do anything without taking that situation to God, because I think very lovingly what we do is that we think that the negativity is the other person, and maybe it's us. And maybe we're the problem. Maybe we're not bringing something to the table. Maybe we're doing the me dance, and because they're not, living up to that standard, we're ready to get rid of them. So taking that to God so that He can really show you, hey, I actually put this person in your life. Delrisa's meant to be here. She's edifying you. She's edifying the kingdom with you. You're the problem. And once that's kind of solved, no, it's not me. I'm doing everything that I need to do. Then we need to have a real conversation. Communication, I think, has been lost on our generation. We don't know how to have conversations, and that needs to be a real conversation between two people across the table.
Yeah, but I do want to add on with that. I think someone that's bringing negativity is an unfavorable friend. So an unfavorable friend is a friend that I don't want to spend time with you because you are not helping the relationship.
Yep.
So if you're not helping me as an individual, look at the word relationship. How can we relate to one another?
Wow.
So if you are being negative, or this individual is being negative, I mean, in friendships, sometimes you got, like they say, love must be tough. Sometimes you got to, you don't have to say, you know what, I'm going to unfriend you on Facebook.
You
and I'm
suck.
and you
I
know
don't
what,
like
I'm
you.
blocking your number. No, you don't have to do that. You can just back
Done.
away. Like, I'm done. You can just back away.
Yeah.
Nicely back away,
yeah.
and gently back away from that relationship. Because sometimes we're in relationships and friendships with people and we've outgrown it. And when I say outgrow it, it's not that we're all that. Don't get me wrong.
We're just going.
It's just that we're going in a different way.
Yeah.
And it could be that sometimes, maybe years ago, that friend, you all were able to jive together. Then maybe now you're at a different level.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're
the season
wrong.
might be over.
The season may be over.
Yep.
And it may not be totally over where you just cut them, but it may be time to say, okay, let me just pull back. Like you said, Miss Clay said to you.
Yep.
Sometimes you just gotta pull back.
You can't give everyone your energy. You can't
give everyone your energy, especially if they're being negative.
Your face.
I mean, seriously.
She said they being negative.
I'm a very optimistic person. I'm very, very optimistic. Nakia, what if you all are on two different paths? Sorry, y'all, I've got these glasses now. What if you all are on two different paths as friends? Is it possible to maintain that friendship?
Well, I would ask, what do you mean two different paths? My pastor is always saying.
So tell us what you mean.
Yeah, the past. Explain the past, because if her race is different than my race, we're always going to be on two different paths. But if you mean like spiritually, if you mean we're on two different spiritual paths where they're trying to influence you.
Right.
That's your husband. There he is. The other one was the child. There you go.
Stop the press. Big Daddy has joined live Facebook. Hey, baby.
I need a text
Jarvis. Hold on. She's texting her husband now.
Why is my husband watching?
Stop the press. Big Daddy is on. He's on the road. Baby, I hope you're not driving and watching us. Look,
Jarvis.
I hope you're not driving and watching us at the same time. You're supposed to be on the road.
Jarvis, you need to log
But yeah,
on.
Nakia, can you tell us a little bit about what you mean as far as different paths? Because you can have friends that we're on different paths.
Yeah.
Like I'm a believer, but all my friends are not believers.
Yeah.
So we're on different paths. But there's only so far I'm going to go with you in the friendship. So there are things that you will do that I'm just not going to do.
Yeah.
Because it's conflicting with my beliefs. So we can still be on the same path as far as a friend is concerned to a particular point. Because when you want to do certain things, I'm just not going to do those things with you. And I pray for you, but I'm not going to do them with you.
I think that goes for different paths, like where you are in your season as well.
Right.
Whereas your youngest baby is
10.
My youngest
is almost 30.
Seriously?
He's 29.
He'll
be 29 September.
Whereas my oldest is 12. I'm 29. My oldest is...
I'm not 29.
My oldest is 12. My youngest is 1. So when it comes to, being on that particular path, but I do have friendships.
Nakia says, I'm more on a spiritual journey, moving up in the ministry at church, and they are just caught in the worldly things. So it seems like we've been bumping heads a lot lately, and I feel like it isn't healthy.
Are you praying for that person?
So yeah, pray for that person, because one of the things, exactly, like God has us in knowing people for a reason.
Plants and seeds. That's
we cannot be. We can't, and I'm not saying you're being this way, Nakia, at all, but we have to remember that God has us in relationships with people for a reason. Yep. Sometimes it's to pray for them. It may be to pray for them at a distance. That doesn't mean you have to fellowship with them. Yep. Because you know that person does not mean that you got to call them all the time. That doesn't mean that they have to be at your house. You're hanging out with them.
Hanging at the club because you're
light and dark. They're going to disagree. I mean, it's inevitable. If I turn the light off right here, what's going to happen? It's going to go dark. The light's not going to stay on. It's just not, there's no way I can have it half lit and half dark.
Wow.
I can't. I can have a dimmer, but
she knows what you mean. But you know what I mean. That's good. That's good. I had that same thing when I got saved. It was like a lot of transitions at one time, where I went from being this crazy party girl And then,
Victoria, you crazy party girl.
girl, Jesus saves the worst, babe. Like, I was the
We're all
worst of them. But just drinking and living in a really hostile environment. And then I had my first child. I got married and I got saved, all like in a small
Boom,
time.
boom, boom.
It was boom, boom, boom. And I wanted to completely rip myself away from that world. I said, I don't want to be there anymore. And there were some people, and this is important, that respected that. And they said, you know what? I love you enough that even though you're not going to act wild and crazy with me and not be of the world, I still want to go where you're going, Victoria. So I'm not going to break the relationship. Yeah. And that planted seeds for them. You know, Victoria used to be the worst of the worst.
Right. There you go.
Well, what she got going on, you know, in this kingdom life that's different from me. But then there were some people who were not having. I was like, well, then we need to just cut this. Like, we can't be friends.
Now, when you use that word rip yourself, that's interesting because she was in the world. And rip, you know, ripping is something it's not. Nice. There's no way you can rip something and it feels good.
It was not
no
nice.
way you can rip it and it's not going to be painful. It's going to be painful, so it's going to hurt your flesh. But to rip yourself away from relationships that are not healthy and that are not conducive to what you're trying to do, sometimes we just have to do it. Another question. Would you apply the same advice of separation to family? Well, you know what? That is tough. I think it depends upon how the family is influencing you.
So the Word of God tells us that.
Take us to the Word.
Yeah, the Word of God tells us when it comes, let's say, to marriage, that the husband shall leave his mother. Am I saying? Yes. Get your Bible.
Leave and cleave.
Leave and cleave. You got to leave your mother
and
cleave to your wife. And I've seen it so many times where that part never happened. And then we're struggling in this new relationship that God has called, that God has put together. It says, let no man tear them apart, even if that's your family. So we've been very blessed in our, I know we're talking about friendships, but my husband and I have been very blessed in our marriage, to where for the most part, our family has been super supportive of what we have going on. But what we decided to do, and it is in my book that will be coming out soon, it's called The Bubble. Wow. And we put ourselves in this spiritual bubble, and it sounds crazy, but it works. We put ourselves in this spiritual bubble to where, have you ever seen that diagram of God right here and then the husband and wife right here?
I've seen that.
Well, we took it very literally. We said we need to take away every single thing, and the two of us need to grow as individuals to Christ. And as we grow as individuals to Christ, then we'll come together as well. Once we were able to do that, then we could start adding in outside family members back into our relationship, because that environment, even though, you know, your parents, they care about you, they're biased. If not parents, your family are biased. They love you. They could care less about the other person. They love you. So sometimes you do have, not all the time. In my case, my mama loved me something crazy. Sometimes it becomes very unhealthy. I can say that. She don't ever be on Facebook, so it's fine.
I did invite her. Let me invite her again.
But don't pop the bubble. Jarvis loves being in that bubble. He does. Because
Victoria's husband just joined everybody.
So we had to be in our bubble, and it's in the book. If there are people who are attacking your bubble while you're in it, even if they're family, if they don't respect it, if they don't understand, hey, I need this time to work on me and my relationship with Christ and with whomever, if they don't understand it and they attack it, there's a good chance you shouldn't let them back in the bubble.
Don't be a bubble burster.
Don't be a bubble burster. Dad said, establish and maintain boundaries with negative people.
So from the comment line of my dad, Bishop Odell Townsend Sr., he says, establish and maintain boundaries with negative people. So that's good. I mean, you got to have a boundary. So
with not just negative people, any people.
Yeah, but particularly negative people, because negative people can affect you in so many. Yeah, those bold, like circle boundaries. Yeah, maintain boundaries. Yep. That's good, because if you let them in, yeah, they will suck you dry. So you have to maintain those boundaries. I think that's very good. Thank you.
Was that your mom?
That was my dad.
Oh, that was your dad?
Yeah, that was my dad.
Because I get, okay, so dad said
Establish and maintain
boundaries.
boundaries
Oh, that's
with negative
Both your
people.
parents are watching.
Both my parents are
That's so
watching.
sweet. I love it.
But you know what? Unfavorable friends. So
Okay.
an unfavorable friend, another one I thought about. If you heard people say, you're so extra.
Oh, I might be that extra.
No, but have you heard people say that?
I have.
So when I was,
Towards me in particular.
when I was looking at, I was looking at that information, but in looking at everything, friendly because they're your friends because of the possibility that your success can help them.
No, I ain't that kind.
So that's extra. So they're being so y'all don't call me extra because I got somebody out there that call me extra sometimes. Don't call me extra because I'm not extra. Now that I looked at extra.
I don't like ugly bubbles. Ignore him. Ignore him.
But the extra, you know, just being an additional part of your life only because I want to see where you're gonna go. I want to see how far you're gonna get. Yeah, I want to get on the easy train.
Those are like gold digging friends.
Well, yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Don't have friends like that.
Extra.
Oh.
And then conditional. Well, I'm your friend if you do this for me.
They need to go back into the acquaintance section.
But I think a lot of times we as individuals, we get hurt because we don't know that we've got unfavorable friends and we've got favorable friends. And these unfavorable friends, these tendencies, hey, Dolores, these tendencies are very, they can be very destructive.
They can.
To the individual. So a lot of times people will think, oh, it's me, it's something that I'm doing. And it's not really necessarily something that you're doing.
It's your environment.
It's just that, and the people that you're letting in your environment, they're contaminating that environment. They're bringing an element of toxicity, they're toxic.
This is true.
And they're bringing that to your environment.
Wow.
I mean, like, you can't let everybody in your environment.
You can't let everyone in your circle. But see, people who love people,
it's hard.
It's hard. I want everybody to be in my bubble.
You just love people.
I just want everyone, let's all be best friends and let's all just be cool. But you're right, people will suck you dry if you let them.
And then the negative, so you got the negative. So we talked about the negative. You got the negative friends like, oh my goodness. So every time you see this person, they have something negative to say, like, oh, Victoria, your outfit is so cute, but you could have wore a black head scarf instead of a red one.
Really? I don't have friends like that.
Like, really? Why are we so negative?
I've seen negative, like, they're negative about themselves. And that can be draining too. Everything's negative, you know. Victoria, why didn't you invite me to watch your live? Is it because you don't like me? I thought you liked me. Maybe Dorisa doesn't like me. Oh no, it's because that last time that I saw her, that, you know, that one event and blah, 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 that kind of stuff can be draining as well.
Yeah.
You still love on them, but it's exhausting.
So what are the good friends? Cheerleaders?
Dorisa.
Oh, hey. Stallion, my dog is coming up Facebook Live. Go, Stallion.
She's a big dog.
Go, sorry. That's the thing about live. Go, Stallion, go sit. Sit down somewhere.
They are miserable. Yeah. Your negative friends.
Yeah, the negative friends are miserable, and then they want to make you miserable, and then that can be contagious.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't want. We just have to limit. That's where those boundaries that my dad was talking about. We got to create those boundaries. So
absolutely,
when people are negative, sometimes we just got to separate ourselves from it. Just really remove ourselves from that type of situation. But our cheerleaders, they're so supportive. We've had those friends there. They're just supportive. It's like whatever you're doing, they're like, you can do it. I know you can do it.
You're one of those. You're definitely one of those. And sometimes I'll be looking at you like, oh my gosh.
I'm like, you can do it.
Cut it out.
No, you can do it.
Cut it out.
You gotta see the potential.
You got this. You've got this. I'm like, I don't got this.
Because you know what I believe? My belief is if God gives you a vision, He's gonna make provision for it. And God is not gonna give us a vision that's too big for us. He's not.
That's good.
He is not going to put something inside of us that is too big for us to manifest.
Can I say this real fast? You need to have friends. Oh, stop. Okay, you don't have to be on anymore, babe.
No.
Cut
him loose. Jarvis, cut him loose.
He's real quick. Jarvis don't play them games. He's quick. you need friends where when you're around them, sometimes you need a pen and paper because they are just blessing your life so much. You got to write it down. Like I've literally had moments with some of my friends, especially ones that are a year or two older than me. And they've gone through that and they've lived that and they want to pour into me at a personal and intimate level and say, Victoria, don't go down that route. And I just want to literally take notes. Those are kind of friends I need.
And those friends are, I mean,
Priceless.
they're priceless. They're priceless. They're priceless. And good. And then you have the friends that's like, I call them the hangout buddies. You know how you have those friends that's like, I'm going somewhere and I know Victoria's gonna go. Let me call her. Let's go hang out.
Definitely not a hangout.
Well, Victoria's not a hangout.
I have no time.
She's got a husband and
hang
5 children. She don't have time to
Anybody.
hang out with anybody. The relationship with negative people can become toxic. It can. It can become toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And toxic is equivalent to poison, which is equivalent to destruction, which is equivalent to death. So you're absolutely right, Mom. Relationships with negative people can become toxic. It can become toxic. But relationships with people who you have a kindred spirit with, I think is very, very inspirational, motivating. Edifying.
Yep.
Because those people, they provide that emotional strength. You know, and I think very toxic. Rosita, I love those friends important. Now, Rosita, she is someone who is very positive.
She's a great friend.
Like, Rosita never has a bad day. I've never seen Rosita have a bad day.
Even when she says something negative, I know several people, her, Miss Becky, where even when they're saying something that might not be like happy, like, oh, I was late this morning. Their cheeks
in a positive way.
Yeah, their cheeks are still doing this positive smile thing. I ran out of gas on the way here. Those are the kind of people you need around you. Like they see wonder and gloriousness in everything, and they lift you up. And Rosita's definitely one of those people.
Well, you know what? I had a situation recently. I was talking to someone who had car issues, and their car issues, it happened at such a convenient time, which I mean, it wasn't my car, but what I would consider to be convenient because they weren't stranded.
Okay.
So what I tried to get this person to see was, yeah, your car stopped, and yeah, you have to get it jumped, but it's in the most convenient place.
Such a blessing.
Like it's not late at night. You're not stranded on these back roads in Georgia
with no signal,
with nothing.
Yeah.
Because it can be very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of times that's one of the things we have, and we have to be purposeful to do that. It takes, you have to really be purposeful to say, I am going to be positive in situations. When things happen, I'm not going to, I'm going to dissect it, and I'm going to find that one positive thing.
Yep.
It may be only one positive thing, but I am going to find it. And then you've got friends like Victoria. So Victoria is what I like to call my strategist.
Is that a good thing?
It is a good
That's
thing.
A favorable
That's a favorable
friend. Okay,
friend.
I didn't know if that was a non-favorable or favorable one.
Because you help. She must have saw me in the van. No, I didn't see you in the van. He said, like, because I just used the situation with a car breaking down.
I don't get it.
So I just used the situation with the car breaking down, being positive, and Jarvis, your husband, said, oh, she must have saw me in the van. So maybe the van.
Our van. Okay. Strategist.
So I think that's someone who's helping you basically develop your life, helping you walk through life, and is creative and helps you create strategy.
You picked that one for me.
I picked that one for you.
Oh, blessings.
Yes.
Blessings.
Yes.
I wouldn't have picked that for myself.
Yeah, I picked it.
That's all that matters. You picked that.
Because you embrace my dreams.
I love your dreams.
But I love your dreams too.
I love everything that you come up with.
You sound kind of corny.
No, I love your dreams more. I do. I mean that. I really do.
But see, that's the thing. So a strategist, and see, a friend that's a strategist takes what you are doing and they take it as their own. And that's what I'm saying. That's the thing you do. You know, a strategist is a person that instead of them saying, oh yeah, well, that's your idea, and I see something that can help you, but I'm not going to tell you because that's your idea. A friend that's a strategist says, yes, that's an excellent idea, but I've got something that can help make that a better idea.
Let me connect you.
Let's make it go further. Okay. We got a question.
No, feedback.
Oh, feedback.
When friends become negative, I learned to question them and ask. Oh, she got the speak face too.
Speak face.
What's going on with you?
What's going on with you? And I can hear.
Sometimes the negativity can be a cry for help with much deeper issues. It can. That goes back to you got to be praying for your friends. You do. Everything's not about you. You know, if they were acting really nasty the last time, you know, and that's not their character, talk, speak, communicate. I agree with that. Yeah,
Dolores. So Dolores said her car stopped working, and she didn't ask for help. She just got on the bus. So that's.
Does she live in Augusta?
No, she doesn't. She lives in Chicago.
Oh, I was about to say,
we
what
don't have
bus did you get
on? Your car has to work out here, else you're gonna.
I was going to say, that's a
trouble.
blessing that you got on the bus.
But no, Dolores lives in Chicago. But that's one thing. So she got on the bus. And that's a thing that you can look at as a positive thing.
Be productive.
You got options. She has options.
And kept it moving. I love that.
Church on the bus and
kept it moving. I love it. You ain't gonna stop me from getting this word.
You're not gonna stop me. So you all, let's just evaluate. We've been on for almost an hour. It's about time to wrap it up. But let's look. Let's evaluate our friendship. So the things that we've been talking about today. Thank you all so much for the comments. I really appreciate you all chiming in. I appreciate the comments and the questions. Hopefully this has been fruitful and beneficial for you all. Evaluate your friendship.
Yeah.
You know, and my thing is, if they're not bringing value to you, what are they bringing? I mean, like, why am I in this relationship with you if you're not bringing value to me? And it's not all about me all the time, but you want it to be a win-win situation. It shouldn't just be you giving, you're giving, and they're taking.
Exhausting. I think with negative relationships, I think like we said before, we need to be mindful. Like she said, are we praying for that person? Are they going through something? As a counselor, when we see, because September is Suicide Prevention Month, when we see people that have committed suicide,
go ahead. I'll read it.
Miss Clay starts talking.
So our pastor's wife is speaking, so we need to.
I believe in when Miss Clay speaks, you stop and you listen. I believe in divine connections, like you both said. Or sides. She must said, I think.
She said.
We need relationships with purpose.
Yes.
It's always important to walk in love and show love. Sometimes in difficult relationships, God wants us to be a light in the other person's life. That was for some of the above comments.
Yes.
Some people are in our lives for a reason, for a season, and for a lifetime. You're a lifetime friend.
A lifetime friend.
That's why it's important to stay in prayer concerning all of our relationships. Absolutely.
That's
y'all
good.
need to be loving on that
That's
comment.
Good.
That's good. As she said so much, you need to be there at all times.
Yep.
But a season or a lifetime.
That's good.
I hope you thought I was lifetime, because I'm not going
Your
there.
lifetime.
Lifetime.
Your lifetime.
My friend
Am I lifetime for you?
Lifetime.
Okay, lifetime.
Like till death. My friend Mally, she calls it a take-home friend.
Your friend Mally is my friend too.
No, she
Mally Roberts?
Mally Roberts is mine.
Mally is my friend
Mally,
too.
we'll tag her in. Mally is mine. I take ownership of that. But you have to recognize if, like I was saying, is this a cry for help with Suicide Prevention Month coming up?
That's good.
When we've had issues with suicidal ideations, their family did not know, their friends did not know. They were acting different, they didn't want to hang out, but they did not know. So you do need to make sure that you are communicating. Hey, you are really getting on my nerves. What's going on with you? I know that we're best friends, but talk to me. And then there are some of those relationships where you've got to rip away from it.
You got to rip away sometimes.
You do. Like Ms. Clay said, it's not for a lifetime.
Yep,
it's for a season. And I've had friends where I've had to rip away from that because they weren't conducive to my marriage. They weren't conducive to me as a parent. They weren't conducive to me as a growing woman of faith. And I love you, like you said. You don't have to fellowship with everybody. You have a responsibility as a woman or man of God to pray for everybody. That is your responsibility.
That's our responsibility.
But it's not your responsibility to fellowship with everybody and to be unevenly yoked with everybody.
You're right.
Mark said something.
Mark, he's saying, hey Mark, he's saying having true relationship is a blessing from above, just like having soulmate connections. And that is right. That's true. Because true friends, so what is a true friend? A true friend is one that they're honest.
Yep.
They provide that emotional support.
Yep.
They're not judgmental.
Yep.
They accept you for who you are.
Yep.
Flaws and all.
Yep.
I think. And they don't put time constraints or restrictions on you. or ifs, those ifs, and they don't drain you.
I agree.
So they bring value. So I think
I need to work on that.
me.
I need to work on that judgment one. I was like, girl, tighten up.
But you know,
Tighten up.
you know what? It took my sister-in-law, Tori Townsend, who I love dearly. She told me when we first got when she got married to my brother years ago, when they first got married, she told me I didn't know how to be a friend. No, she told me I didn't know how to be a sister. And so that was interesting. And I said, I had to learn, and she taught me and she helped me because I had to recognize I didn't know how to be a sister to a sister.
Wow.
But I knew how to be a sister to brothers because I had my two brothers. My oldest sister didn't live with me. We didn't grow up together. I grew up in a house with my two brothers.
That's
and as you all know, relationships with brothers,
with men
are different. So I didn't know how to be a
tighten
sister
up
to a sister.
and keep it moving.
Right. So that's one of the things. So a lot of times we, even as friends, we have to learn how to be friends. So when you say that communicating is critical, and just let them know, hey, what you did was offensive to me. What you said was offensive to me.
And that was important too. You got to learn how to be a good friend. You got to be taught that. That's not everyone's not a natural good friend, you know. And when you're identifying your different relationships, you need to see, is your man home?
I don't know. Somebody just walked in my door.
You need to identify if you need to grow in a certain area. You know, it's not always another person. Sometimes it's us.
Right.
You know, I like I said, if you didn't catch it earlier, I was raised in a military background. It is hard for me to keep relationships, friendships, because in my mind, we're going to have this really great, almost like a sugar high. My friendships are sugar high.
Sugar high.
I have sugar high friendships.
You're a sugar high friend.
You're a sugar high friend where we met in the elevator.
Now, I've heard of eye candy, but I haven't heard of a sugar high.
A sugar high friend. I am a sugar high friend where I have all these pipe dreams of what we're going to do, but I have no intention on keeping those promises.
Wow.
I don't. And that was definitely something my husband taught me. He said that you do not know how to have lasting friendships, and that's not fair. You need to let these people know that you don't plan on being friends with them past next year. You know, and I've.
So how do you let a person know? Okay, you know what? I'm just planning on being like at the moment. I mean, like, how do you? I mean, really, seriously?
I didn't do that. I became better. I became a better friend. And something you taught me. Pray for your friendships.
Yeah.
Pray for them.
And that's something I learned from my parents.
Well,
because
thank you,
she
taught me that.
My parents, my dad and my godfather were very, very good friends, and they prayed for that friendship.
Yeah.
So that's what I learned from my parents, and I do that with my friends who I consider true friends. I pray for our relationships because true friends and friends, particularly in the kingdom, the enemy would love to destroy and would love to come against this.
Yep.
So we have to be purposeful in protecting this friendship.
I agree.
Yep. So everybody, thank you. It's now almost 1 hour on the dot.
We did good. We
kept it condensed. We covered everything.
That's funny that 1 hour is condensed for us to get there. Catch our next live, which is 4 hours and 37 minutes.
Right. We need to do it again.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to do it again. But our next WPPRC scheduled event is not until October. Hi. Hey. Big Daddy just walked in.
I'm going to go home now. I need to go.
Now, true friends. Now, that's a true friend.
I need to leave.
She knows when it's time to go. No.
I'm about to pack my seriously. I'm about to pack my stuff.
Job is like, yep, it's time for you to come home. That's why it's so good to have friends who you have common things. So, for instance, for me, I've been married for 21 years. I've got 4 children. I've got twin grandbabies. So to have a friend who, and I'm not saying I don't have single friends. I do have single friends, but there are different dynamics involved.
Yeah.
So you have to look at that because Nakia was talking about, thank you, Carol. Listen. So Nakia was talking about that earlier, was talking about the friend and separating basically how it's kind of hard because she's been this person's friend for a while. But sometimes we got to know, it's just, I can be a friend, but there are just certain parameters we have to put on the friendship. Yep.
Okay.
All righty. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. the HIPAA in. And this
Great
guy.
session, ladies.
Thank you, baby.